How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is PSReady, my channel all about PlayStation. Hope you're having a great week playing a ton of video games. I kind of want to grab the first Berserker Kazan. My buddy Brad over at Last Stand Media, he does Summon Sign. He played it and really liked it, and I was watching Mortismal Gaming's video on it, and it seems cool. So if you're playing it, please let me know if it's good or worth buying for full price down in the comments below. In today's video, we get to talk about the PS6 Portable again. You know I'm excited about that. It has a secret feature that's going to be awesome. Then we're going to talk about how the PS5 rental system seems to be a massive success, which is a little bit surprising to me. And finally, I'm going to recommend a game that just got a huge update that I'm having a ton of fun with. This video is sponsored by Scry and their Arctic PS5 coolers. If you're a longtime viewer of PSReady, you know exactly who Scry is. I've been working with them for a long time because I love their product. The biggest benefit of using one of Scry's coolers on your PS5 is that it keeps your temperatures optimal no matter how long you're gaming on your console. And if your console's running cooler, it prevents thermal throttling, which means no stutters, frame skips, or any of that weird stuff that happens when your technology gets hot. And with how expensive PS5s are getting, you're not going to want to replace your PS5 if it breaks from overheating, so equipping a cooler will make it last longer. Games are continuing to get more graphically intensive, so having a cooler will give you peace of mind that you're not damaging your hardware just by using it. And no matter which PS5 you have, they have a cooler for you. You've got the Arctic V2 for the regular PS5, you've got the Arctic S for the PS5 Slim, and of course they have an Arctic Pro for the PS5 Pro. And the best part is Scry is hooking up viewers of PSReady. If you click the link down in the description, you'll get special early bird pricing. That'll be cheaper than what you see on their website. Once again, huge shout out to Scry for sponsoring this video. So yeah, let's jump into the first news story here, which is of course about the handheld. The PS6 Portable is what I'm going to call it from now on into the future. I could have called it the PSP3, the PSVita 2. We're calling it the PS6 Portable mainly because the way it's being built is with the same chip as the PlayStation 6, just running at a lower TDP so you don't drain the battery in 30 seconds. So it's going to be scalable depending on the games you throw at it. So the real key thing that really sets this apart from something like the PSP or the PS Vita or the DS or the 3DS is that it doesn't need its own specific games to be developed for it. It's being built as a companion device to the PlayStation 5 and 6 that'll allow you to play your digital library on the go. So if you bought The Last of Us Part 2 remastered on your PS5, you'll be able to just go into your Sony account and download it for this new handheld and take it on the go with your saves, your trophies, and everything else intact. And honestly, knowing how many games I have on PlayStation, games I've completed on PlayStation that I'd like to go back and play, a lot of multiplayer stuff I play on PlayStation, it's like an essential add-on to the PS6 console. And they're going to have to do this as Nintendo starts to like kind of compete with them with devices like the Switch 2. In terms of performance, the biggest thing that's going to help this out is that it's a next-gen console. Like it's not the same generation as the Switch 2. The Switch 2 is running on new hardware, but it's already kind of behind just like the Switch 1 was, where they're using an older NVIDIA Tegra chip that was made, I think, for mobile phones, and then they're running it at a higher TDP than a phone would, I guess. But because it's Nintendo and they don't care so much about graphics, they got it to the baseline where it could run games like Cyberpunk at 40 FPS or 30 FPS or Elden Ring at 30 FPS. So it's more in line with something like the Steam Deck than it is like a true PS5 or Xbox Series X style console. But this handheld looks like it's going to be in line with at least a PS5 because all of the rumors are saying that is their goal, to get it to natively run PS5 games and some PS6 games, but also hopefully PS4 games. And we got more concrete info from Kepler, the person who's been leaking all this stuff, that it's going to support quite a few different generations of PlayStation without any developer input. It's going to have systems already built into it on the chip, ready to go, that'll allow it to just let you download your old games and play them right out of the box. Now, unfortunately, it's not like a magic solution where every game is going to work. It's going to be very similar to the PS5's backwards compatibility mode with PS4 or the PS4 Pro or PS5 Pro with regular PS4 and PS5 games, where the vast majority of these games will probably work because they were only targeting one piece of hardware, and Sony's going to hopefully do a good job with their back compatibility emulation style stuff with the PS4 and PS5 games, but there might be some that fall through the cracks and just straight up don't work. This is also happening on the Nintendo Switch 2. There's a pretty exhaustive list of of games that are not supported, and games you'd kind of expect are not supported by the Switch 2. Stuff like Labo, because I guess the Switch 2's bigger screen won't fit in the cardboard VR headset. Stuff like Ring Fit Adventure. That one's a little bit weird to me because I don't understand why, outside of the fact that the Joy-Con grip is different. Like the little ring you get, it only fits original Joy-Cons, but those work on the Switch 2, so I don't understand why the game isn't supported. Then there's a few other weird third-party games that aren't supported, so I'd assume that when this thing comes out, we'll have a short list of games that are not supported on it, but still, I would guess that the vast majority of both PS4 and PS5 games are supported. As far as screen technology goes, I'm fully expecting a 1080p screen just because I've played with a lot of different PC handhelds. The Steam Deck, I think, is perfect at 800p. It's a 7-inch screen. It looks really good at that low resolution, and playing at that low resolution definitely allows for higher frame rates. Nintendo's going with a 120 hertz 1080p screen, but I'd bet money on it that like there are very few games that'll be able to push to actual 1080p, and they'll rely on DLSS 2 on that handheld to upscale probably from 720 or 800p. So with this Sony handheld, knowing that it's going for the ability to play PS5 games, I feel like the benchmark on this is going to be if it has a 1080p screen, it'll push 900p and upscale from there with FSR4 or PSSR. It won't have DLSS because it's using an AMD chip. And the target on frame rate is 100% going to be 30 FPS. Don't let people who hype this stuff up get you going down the lane where you think this is going to be a 4K 60 FPS handheld. It's just like literally not possible. Like you could take a desktop chip like a Ryzen 9 and throw it in a handheld right now and run it at full TDP, like make sure that it's getting the max power that it can accept, and it probably would output pretty damn impressive results, but no matter what, your battery life would be 15 minutes. Now GPD, they're kind of the first people on the block when it comes to PC handhelds. They used to do this kind of, they put big crazy chips in their handhelds and then they'd put a massive battery pack in there, and you'd look at it and it would look great from the top. It would look like a 3DS or whatever, and then you turn it sideways and it's like 3 inches thick because you need a massive battery to push that kind of chip. Sony's not going to do that. They're not going to release a device that's 3 inches thick and weighs 5 pounds. So when you throw it in your bag, it actually weighs you down. They're going to release something that's on par with like what we have with the Steam Deck or the Switch too. And that's fine. With all the different handhelds out there, I mean, this stuff is all just up to personal preference. If you like Nintendo games, you get the Switch 2. If you have a big PC library on Steam, you obviously should get the Steam Deck. If you want Windows games because you have Game Pass, get the ROG Ally X or the Legion Go. And then if you want to play your first party Sony games on the go with really high quality hardware, because that's what Sony's known for, of course, you just get the PlayStation 6 handheld. But the real benefit here is that the last generation, the PS4 generation, and during this generation, the PS5 generation, people spent tons of money, tons of time, tons of energy building out their insanely large digital libraries, and they're going to want to take that to whatever handheld they can. The more I start seeing rumors and leaks around stuff like this, the less I think Sony will ever implement cross-save on PC, because at this point, the Steam Deck is a competitor to whatever they're making, and they don't want people to choose the Steam library over the Sony library. So if they have that marketing point where, yeah, you can play games from Sony on the PC or the Steam Deck, you're just going to wait a year to actually do it and you don't get your saves. Whereas with this thing, you'll play PS5 games day one and be able to take your saves and trophies and friend list and everything on the go and access the PlayStation Store from it. That's a great marketing point that makes this thing an easy sell. I'm definitely a multiple handheld kind of person, honestly. Like, I have room for all of them in my life. I have the Steam Deck. I'm definitely buying a Switch 2, and you bet your ass I will be there day one for this thing, as long as it doesn't have proprietary memory. They better learn this time that if they are not putting a big SSD in it, the only slot that should be on this handheld is micro SD Express. If they don't do that, it's going to be the PlayStation Vita all over again, where people are like, man, I don't want to pay $300 for a handheld and then pay another $100 for an acceptable amount of storage to increase the size of it. But yeah, that brings me to the second news story here, which is Sony might have just found a great new revenue stream that I'm kind of struggling to understand. So I talked about this a month ago, where in Japan, Sony is allowing you through PlayStation Direct to rent a PlayStation 5 console for what amounts to about $1 a day if you convert the yen back to US dollars. So for like 30 bucks a month or $365 a year, you could rent a PlayStation 5 console. And I'm not sure, I tried to research this, there's not a lot of info out there. I'm not sure if it's like Rent-A-Center where you rent to own, where like once you pay off the cost of the console plus interest, of course, because how would they make money otherwise, then you get to keep the console forever. It seems like from what I can tell though, that this is just straight up renting the console. You enter a contract for about a year, you pay every month to keep it in your house, and then you can continue it forward once that contract ends, or you could probably buy the machine at a little bit of a discount. But either way, the rental company and Sony are the ones making money here. I think there's very few use cases where this actually saves you money, but it seems like a lot of people are really enjoying it because about 85% to 90% of the stock that was released to be rented through PlayStation Direct has been rented in Japan. The only reason I think this is so popular is, of course, because I think the yen is pretty weak right now and people don't have a ton of money to throw around, which that's what's like, everyone's going through that in the entire world, whether you're in America, Europe, or anywhere else. Like, you have an option to just rent a PS5 for what amounts to a lot less than you'd pay for the console out of the box. It seems like something that the Japanese are very interested in. I don't know. I think you can do this through Rent-A-Center for like 60 bucks a day here. And I'd be really curious to find out how many people are actually doing it, because no matter what, you're spending more money than you probably would have if you just save up and buy the console outright. You can get the Astrobot bundle right now for 400 bucks. I think it's 450 for the disc drive enabled model. You could get refurbished PS5s for even cheaper. You could look on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. You could trade some stuff and get a good deal that way. Just renting stuff has never really worked for me. Like my Dodge Challenger that I bought in 2020, paid cash for it. I saved up money, I sold a car, sold some extra stuff, paid cash. When I wanted a Jeep Wrangler, I went to Facebook and I set the limit of years I could look at like 2014, and I just looked for a 2012 with low mileage, and I bought that for cash too because I got a great deal on it. I just don't like having a billion payments over my head. I saw a tweet over the weekend that gave me a heart palpitation where this person was like Klarna-ing Starbucks, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and video games, and they all hit at the same time. Like their whole phone screen was filled top to bottom with Klarna payments, and that stuff adds up. Like in the moment, you're like, oh, I could spend $5 on this game now and pay it off in like 6 months or whatever. It's probably a good thing. And then like 2 days later, you want another game and you do it, and it all piles on top of each other. And then you're like, oh, I'm way overextending myself here. So if you do end up renting one of these things, if they bring it here, literally add up the cost over a year, and I would guess that you'll probably find that if you just save up, you'll be better off in the long run, because the longer you wait, the cheaper games are going to get, and hopefully these price increases that have been happening around the world kind of taper off as time goes on. I'm just like, that's me. I like buying stuff. If you like renting stuff, it works for you. More power to you. Not giving financial advice, just saying how I would do it. And that brings me to the third news story here, which is about a game that I bought when it came out and then wasn't really impressed with the performance and the graphical bugs. I said I'll let it have some time in the oven. It also came out the weekend I got married, so like it kind of fell off my radar quick. The game is Lords of the Fallen, and the developers, CI Games, have taken the past year and a half or so to just completely rebuild the game, and they released the 2.0 patch. It's exhaustive, but I played this game all weekend long and I had an absolute blast. It's like not as tough as something like Elden Ring, but it's still a tough Souls-like, and it pulls all the right stuff to feel like its own thing while also being very familiar if you've ever played a Souls game. I love the imagery in this. Like when you kill a boss, it says Sinner Vanquished. Your healing item is not a flask like it is in Dark Souls. It's like a cross with a rosary on it, I'm pretty sure. Your main helmet, if you pick a knight like I did, it's like a Crusader armor piece, and the helmet has a crown of thorns on it. It's very badass looking. It's very like gory, bloody, hard 80s metal influenced, and it's only 20 bucks for a limited time because they released this 2.0 update. They fixed a lot of bugs. They added a jump button. They have a friend pass, which is awesome. So no matter what console your friend has, like if you buy this game on PS5 and you want your friend on PC or Xbox to play with you, you can use your friend pass and they can play through the entire game with you no matter what console they're on, because it has full crossplay. And they even did an interesting thing and bucked the most bizarre word trend that started over the past 5 years, where instead of male or female when you're making your character, you can make a character that looks like a guy but is called type A, and you can make a character that looks like a girl and is called type B. Now it's just male and female like it has been my entire life, except for the past 5 years, which I think is cool. And they redid the character customizer so everyone's hotter, like both men and women in this game are hotter. They're probably inspired by Marvel Rivals, and I can confirm the first boss, who's like a bloody angel that you like save, and then she joins your little quest and like hangs out at the hub world that they have in this game. It's pretty hot, not gonna lie. I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, it's $20 right now. It's a cool Souls-like. You could probably get it done in a couple of weeks while you wait for Elden Ring Night Rain. I think this game is totally worth it. So if you bought it, it's time to go back to it. If you never bought it, it's definitely worth $20. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you in today's video. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and shape on.